Hi folks, my name is Joseph of Baldman Coding, and today I'm going to show you how to scrape Google suggestions in Python, and we're going to do it in 2 lines of code. We'll be using a new library called EasyScrape. Links to the library and some sample code will be provided in the description. If you're interested in Python content, then please make sure to gently tap the like and gently tap the subscribe button. Please do not smash my like button or my subscribe button. My channel's very young. I can't afford to have anybody breaking the buttons on the site. So please like and subscribe, but gently. So we've all gone to Google and we're typing our search term in the bar, and we notice that as we're doing it, we get these terms that are popping up on the bottom, and these are suggestions by Google. And they're not random. Google's actually figuring out, based on overall search volume and things that are trending, what we might be searching for. And this is actually really valuable for data mining, because if you're trying to put together a blog or your next YouTube video, you're looking for what's popular right now, and this gives you a lot of hints as to what that might be. And so what we're going to look to do today is take what we've got on the left, this list of Google suggestions, and what we want is what we have on the right, which is a list of strings in Python. So that's what we're going to do today, and we're going to do it in 2 lines of code. So let's get going. Today, we will be using the EasyScrape Google Suggest library. This is a micro library that allows us to grab Google suggestions with 2 lines of code. It helps us eliminate all of the extra stuff that we would normally have to do, like importing the request library, forming the URL, making the request, parsing the results, etc. Instead, with this library, we write 1 line of code to import the library and 1 line of code to grab the suggestion results based off of our search term. The library returns a list of strings with the results, and it's really easy to work with. So our first step is going to be to go ahead and copy this command here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now by clicking on this. And if you're in a terminal environment in Python, you would just go ahead and paste that in the console. But in my case, since I'm in the Google Colab environment, which is what I recommend for beginners, we can paste the same thing as before. But the one thing we have to do is we have to put an exclamation point at the beginning. And so then now we can run it. And so Google Colab is going to go through, and this exclamation point tells it that it's an external library that hasn't been preloaded into the environment. Some libraries like pandas, etc. will have that. So, but any of the libraries on PyPy are available to you as long as you add that exclamation point in front of the command. So let's go ahead and start writing some code. And the first step is going to be to import the library. So I'm going to say from EasyScrape, and then this pops up, this Google Suggest. I'm going to say import get suggestions. And then this is optional, but I like to add this little shortcut. So I'm going to say as ES. And then the second line of code here, we're going to say ES results. It can be any variable name. I just chose that one. Equals es.query. And then I'm going to put my search term in here. So let's say Monty Python. And let's go ahead and run that. And it worked, except that we don't really see anything. And that's because even though we can get all this data in 2 lines of code, we still need to display it. Now, if I look at the inspector over here, and I take a look at our result here, we can see we have 8 items. And when I hover over it, you can see the various 8 items, and they're being displayed in a list that you can see below there. So if one way to see that list really easily is I can just put the name of the variable there, run it again. You can see the list popping up down here. And we can do anything we want with the list. So I can say for result in ES results, and I can print the result. And we can see how that looks, except for maybe we've got to form the print command correctly. So let's do that. go ahead and play this. Okay, so here we see, and you can see there's now these are strings, and we have our list of the 8 items. And so this is pretty good. And some of the things you can do with this Google Suggest is we might want to start typing in some terms, like let's say for blog posts, sometimes people are looking for questions that they want to answer. So you might say, what is the best whatever, right? And let's go ahead and run this again. And so we can see that these are some of the top searches. So I guess a lot of people are interested in zodiac signs. Wordle seems to be popular. Air fryers seem to be popular. Movies, credit cards. So that's all interesting. And then, if you want to like dig a little deeper, you can start like putting in letters. Like, your first one could be A, and you can see what shows up there. We can try, we could be feeding it a list. So we could feed it the A's, and then the B's, and the C's, and so on. And you can just get these large lists and use these Google suggestions. So that's how you can do it in, I said 2 lines of code. I mean, technically to do something useful, you need a few more lines of code, but what do we got here? Like 4 lines of code? It's not bad. So that does it. 2 lines of code, maybe a little more, and we were able to easily scrape Google Suggest. If you're interested in more tutorials on using Python in a really easy way, please go ahead and check out this video right here.